An encounter between the security forces and terrorists that broke out in Kastigarh area of Doda early this morning. The firing has stopped for now, but two security forces have been injured during that gunfight that's taken place in the Kastigarh area of Doda. We have my colleague Nazir joining us to get us more on this. Nazir, this is the second major encounter that's taken place in Doda in a matter of just 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. And army sources are telling us this is part of the ongoing operation, and there was a contact. And in which now the two soldiers have been injured, but they report there was an attempt to attack an army camp, and which was repulsed by the army. Militants had to flee; they were forced to flee, and operation is underway. Firing has continued for around 1 hour at around 2 a.m. when the incident happened. So this is the second major incident in 3 days where there's an encounter between security force and militants. And in the earlier encounter on Monday, 4 soldiers, including one captain, they were killed. And militants managed to escape. And same appears to happen in this incident, while 2 soldiers have been injured. There's no inkling if any of the militant has been cornered. So this clearly indicates, number one, they are militants spread in Doda region and the Jammu larger region, and because this is in last over 1 week, this is the third incident or the encounter in Jammu. Earlier in Kutwa, 5 soldiers were killed and 5 others were injured during an ambush on 2 army trucks. Over the last 3 days, there's massive operations going on in Doda district following the encounter in which 4 soldiers were killed. According to police, several overground workers or the supporters of militants have been arrested. They are being questioned. So there is always, whenever there is an attack or encounter, locals are being caught and suspects, and they are being questioned to see if they have any information about militants operating in the area. But the situation appears to be much complex. As you see in the visual, these are village defense guards who are deployed, who are actually protecting their village from any militant attack. And in fact, yesterday there was also reports of 2 incidents of exchange of fire in the same area, which shows the very disturbing trend that if we see the contact with the village defense groups twice, exchange of firing twice, then the attack on first army, this encounter with the army on Monday, and now this overnight gun battle in which 2 soldiers were injured. So there have been rather 4 incidents of the firing in the Doda region for last 3 days. So which is quite a disturbing thing. But the security forces, be it army, police and the paramilitary forces, they have been launching joint operations, and village defense guards have been also joining them, and they are also guarding their respective village. So it's a complex situation, but a challenge so far. There's not any substantial success against militants who appear to be well entrenched. And importantly, there are reports that some of the weapons which Americans had left in Afghanistan after they made a history, this withdrawal from Afghanistan, those weapons may have made their way to Jammu and Kashmir. So that is also the top officials have been saying. So far we have seen M4 rifles and steel core bullets being used by militants. So that is a bigger worry, not just the hardened, these militants who know are trained in jungle warfare, but the kind of weaponry they have, that's also a challenge. And so far, despite massive operations, security forces doesn't appear to be closer to tracking down these groups who are operating in Doda region of Jammu.
Right. Nazir, of course, the terrorists try to attack that army camp. Take us through the challenges that the army is facing, because, that first attack that we saw this week was on Monday, and 3 days in, we're seeing another attack taking place where these soldiers have been injured.
Well, there is a challenge. So clearly this, whatever is happening today is not happening because of some overnight development. It is clear that these militants were building their bases or their infrastructure for quite some time, for a long time, maybe for 3 years, 4 years in Jammu region, because it had started from Poonch Rajeri in 2021. Now it is spreading in the mountains of Doda and right up to Kutwa, Riyasi, Udhampur. So it is an area which was not the major focus for the security agencies when it comes to the counter-militancy or counter-insurgency. The whole focus was on Kashmir Valley. So now while the valley is relatively calm, there are not many encounters, there are not much disturbance, but the whole theater of militancy appear to have shifted to Jammu, and now security force would certainly take some time to deal with this evolving situation, emerging situation, while see the complexion of insurgency or militancy appear to have changed. The militants they have pushed in Pakistan has pushed into Jammu region. What army had said, they are highly trained and the kind of weapons they are using. But the bigger worry is that getting an actionable intelligence to initiate operations against these militants is not coming so quickly for the security forces. So building that information network is also a challenge, because the kind of technology militants are using, for example, their communication network, they are using many satellite communication systems which are hard for the security force to intercept. So technology is also one of the important issues. But in these mountains, forests, it is more often the human intelligence, the intelligence from the locals, where they can security force launch operations. But in these areas, it is very easier said than done when it comes to launching operations, because behind every bush or tree, there's a possibility that an adversary could be hiding or he may have planted a bomb. So clearly, it is security force has to be very well calibrated when launching these operations. They can not just jump the gun whenever there's an incident and rush into the forest. It can be fatal. So that has happened in the past. Also, security force have learned this in a hard way. But right now, this operation is underway in this Doda area, rather multiple operations to track down militants who have been operating, who have been rather carrying out attacks and encounters in this area, particularly the larger Jammu area. Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police and paramilitary posts have been devising a joint strategy to deal with this situation, which is posing the biggest security challenge in the recent times in Jammu and Kashmir.
Right.